You sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Ruffino's on Highland Road, welcome to the Friday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannigrove along with Holomeo.
Let's go,
Good
baby.
to see you, man.
Let's go. Happy to be back.
I have things I need to talk to you about.
you
I'm
got
glad you're here today. Max Gotro with us. Jordan Kitchen's back in the studio. Chris Massaro will be with us to give us picks. Bruce Marshall, Troy Macker, Jimmy Ott will be with us in hour number 2. We got a lot to get to today. It's divisional weekend in the NFL playoffs. The national championship game is Monday night in college football. And, the Saints are looking for a coach. And that's why I wanted you here today. I wanted you here to talk about where the Saints are and what's going on. So let me just jump right in. What's your read on? Let me start with the press conference on Monday, because that it wasn't exactly one of the most inspiring speeches Saints fans have ever heard. So give me your take on that to start.
I don't think Saints fans were expecting it. I don't think Saints fans were expecting it to be some kind of groundbreaking press conference.
Because with Loomis, it never is.
Right. It's actually, I think Saints fans were expecting him to double down on the idiocracy, and that's pretty much what you heard. Very stuck in his ways, very stubborn guy. And when he said that, hey, we'll be able to change this quickly, that's all you got to hear right there to know that Mickey Loomis, he's full of it. It's like, this is not a quick change unless you bring in a groundbreaking head coach that could tell Mickey Loomis, hey, this is the way we got to go. If not, you're going to keep sinking into the ground. And I wasn't surprised by anything I heard. Wasn't surprised about the support for Derek Carr. Wasn't surprised about him saying Dennis Allen was a good football coach still. We're talking about weeks after he's still saying it. So just not surprised. It is discouraging. And let's just see what happens. I want an offensive-minded coach. I want somebody who's going to take this quarterback situation and get it right for the years to come, whatever it is.
I think what I'm trying to think along with Loomis here, that he believes the lowest points in the history of the franchise, and I've seen both of them.
Yeah.
The 1-15 season in 80, and of course the Katrina year in 2005. And he was here for 2005, and they brought Sean Payton in. And okay, they went from the second worst team in the league to the NFC Championship game in 1 year. And I really think he's believes that they can do that again. Here's how the beginning of my pushback on that is. You were bringing in a new quarterback that year, and you won't be bringing in a new quarterback this year. You were bringing in the number 2 pick in the draft in Reggie Bush, who was a dynamic player. He never was quite in the NFL what he was at USC, but he was still a very, very good player. You had salary cap room. You know what I remember about that offseason was when Sean Payton got there and he said, I have no linebackers. I got to go find some real live starting caliber linebackers. I don't have to go get Junior Seau, who I think was the best linebacker in the league, but I got to have some guys who can tackle. And they went and they made moves for Mark Semino and Scott Shanley and Scott Fujita, who were all good. These guys weren't all pro linebackers. They were all really good players. And they brought in, they brought in guys like Pierre Thomas was a non-drafted free agent that year that they hit on. And they brought in all kind of, situational players. They just brought in more good football players. And I don't believe that that's the way Loomis sees them doing that, because this year, I don't know that there's a quarterback that you can bring in. Unless you fall backwards into one in the draft. I don't know that there is an impact guy at 9 that they're going to get that would impact in the way Reggie Bush was. And they don't have enough money in free agency to go out and get 3 or 4 starting caliber players the way they did with those linebackers that year. So my thing is, no, you can't do what you did in 2005, no matter who the coach is.
Right. Yeah. I think we got to eliminate that. There was so much that went, like Reggie Bush thing. Okay, he may have not lived up to his potential in the NFL, what we thought. It was such a high expectation, but he got tails and seats, and he started the aura of the new Saints. People did not know that Drew Brees was going to be that good. They did not know that Sean Payton was going to be that great of a coach. People showed up for Reggie. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We don't have anybody really that people like. I guess Kamara. I guess you could say Kamara, but he's getting older.
Yeah, I don't know that he's the needle mover. He's still a really good player, but I don't know that he's the needle mover. So with all that in mind, and for those that hoped, and I was in that boat, that Loomis would take a look at this wide angle lens at the end of the year and go, you know what, we need to change the way we think. No, we didn't get any of that.
None.
And he's not getting fired, and he has no
No.
intention of retiring. So you stuck with him.
Right.
So what do you do with a coach? Because in my opinion, what this organization needs more than anything is a fresh set of eyes.
Yeah.
Somebody that can come in from the outside that will look at this thing and say, Mickey, this ain't working. Somebody that he'll listen to.
Yeah.
Mickey, this is not working, man. We got to get this cap situation figured out so we can go shopping in free agency and plug some holes when we need to. You trade down, you trade up in the draft again and cost us. You know how many times in the last 7 years since that 2017 draft, only twice had the 7 drafts have they drafted at least 4 players in the first 4 rounds. This is where your cheap labor comes from. This is where your starters come from. You know, if you draft well, which they haven't done either, we can't trade up in the draft because we need every pick we can get. Because I think if they go into this draft with the number 9 pick, there's no guarantee that he won't trade up.
Yeah.
Or later in the draft and cost him more picks. Somebody's got to tell him that he'll listen to. And I don't. There's only one guy. I wrote a column this morning on LouisianaSports.net. I'm sure it will be wildly unpopular. I don't know that there's anybody out there that the Saints could reasonably acquire other than Mike McCarthy that Loomis would actually listen to and say, you know what, we have been doing this wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm not throwing a parade for Mike McCarthy. I mean, I understand the limitations. It's been a long time since he won a Super Bowl. The teams in Dallas, they won 1 playoff game in 5 years. But give me somebody else, because if you bring in a young first-time coach, I think Loomis is going to keep doing things the way he's been doing them.
Yeah.
And even if the coach is a great coach, I don't know if he can. Think about Mike Shanahan when he was coaching the Raiders. Okay. Before he coached the Broncos and won 2 Super Bowls, he went to the Raiders, and Al Davis was aging. They were doing things in a really obscure manner, and Shanahan couldn't win there.
Yeah.
He was a great coach. He couldn't win there.
Right.
Aaron Glenn might be the next great NFL coach. Joe Brady might be the next. But if that's the structure, they got no shot, man.
Yeah. Somebody's got to look at it, like you said, and be like, wow, this is a messy looking house. You know what I'm saying? There's bowls everywhere.
Paint something. Fix those boards, man. Clean the carpet. Do something.
Back door don't lock. I mean,
right.
it's a mess. And somebody's got to say, hey, Mickey, this is I can't even look at this. We have to fix this. We have to go another way. But we'll see. I just have I got a lot of reasons to believe that we're gonna go into next year banking on, hey man, hope these guys aren't injured that were injured last year. But guess what? They've proven to you, Chris Olave, Shaheed. Let's just go start with those 2 right there.
Yeah.
They both get hurt every year. Shaheed before he got hurt this past year, he was hurt a few games the year before.
Yeah.
They get hurt. They're not staying healthy. By the way, they're not true ones. So not only are they not staying healthy, they're not even true ones. So I mean, yeah, it's nice to see a bomb to Shaheed, but we gotta get some better playmaking. I mean, Foster Moreau was, and I love Foster, but that was one of your best players.
Yeah,
offensively, he was
one of your best free agent pickups, which is another place where they have, you know, where are you spending your money? Where you land on Derek Carr? I think I know, but I want to.
I mean, I'd like to not land anywhere around. You know, it's just. It's just too much. And then the obliviousness, how he portrays himself to the media when you saw, would you take a pay cut? You know, don't even answer these questions, dude.
Yeah.
Tell him to go somewhere with their questions. We don't want to hear Derek Carr tell me that he wouldn't take a pay cut.
And I don't blame him. He wouldn't take a pay cut. I mean, he's got to make his money while he can.
Absolutely.
But you don't need to hear that.
You don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. I'm over it. I don't see him bringing you to the playoffs. I mean, how many years can you look? He's got 11 years showing you he's not going to bring you to the playoffs. He misses at weird times, like this past year when he went out when he fell on his head, which was so smart, but he fell on his head. You know, the timing of that sucked.
Yeah,
it sucked. I mean, you had that one last little hope that you could have made, and then he goes and falls on his head.
And did you want to make the playoffs? I mean, okay, they made the playoffs. Fantastic. It's kind of like saying, well, they went 9-8 last year. Well, in a vacuum, okay, 9-8. That's not the worst thing in the world.
Look at the Rams this year.
But the Rams actually got in the playoffs and won a game and might win this week too. Last year's team had it snuck into the playoffs. The 9 wins were against Ryan Tannehill, who's
Right.
washed up.
Yep.
Bryce Young, who was overwhelmed as a rookie.
Right.
Okay, the situation there.
Danny
Tyson
DeVito's.
Badgett.
Yeah.
Desmond Ritter, Max's favorite quarterback.
Yeah.
Tommy DeVito.
Danny DeVito's cousin.
This is 7 wins.
Tommy.
Here's a quiz. How many wins do the Saints have against teams that finished with a winning record over the last 2 seasons?
I'd say 1 or 2.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And both of them were last year. They beat the 9-8 Colts.
Oh, that's right.
And I believe that was that Gardner Minshew that day. I think. And they beat the 9-8 Buccaneers 1 out of 2 times with Baker. That's it. Over 2 years, you've beaten two teams with a winning record. Don't tell me you're close.
Yeah, it's a quick fix.
I don't put much stock in the Pro Bowl, not the game, but the distinction. But this is somebody's opinion that they trust enough to vote on the top 40 to 50 players in the NFC. You got none of them. None.
Yep.
0. Okay. What did you go out and you get in free agency last year? Well, you didn't have much money to spend. You went out and you got Chase Young,
Willie Gay.
I
forgot Willie Gay was on the defense.
Thank you.
Just wasn't there at the end.
So if you haven't performed in the draft, you haven't performed in free agency, you haven't performed on the field for the current roster, what exactly do you have on the spaceship that's good? And that's why I think a fresh set of eyes coming in that Loomis respects, and that's why I keep landing on McCarthy, who, like I said, I know that will be a very unpopular decision. And furthermore, I don't know if McCarthy would take the job if they offered it to him.
Yeah.
And for all I know, he agrees with Loomis. I'd be surprised, but for all I know, he agrees with Loomis. But if it's not McCarthy, it's got to be somebody with enough gravitas to come in and say, like you said, this is a mess.
Yeah, it just looks bad, man.
It's not like we can, fix up a few shingles here and there and everything.
Can't even hang your pitches straight here.
You hear the voice of the fans down there, the diehards, as much as anybody. Your post game, and this is for somebody who's been doing post game for 25 years. Very entertaining. Okay,
I appreciate it.
So you give me the pulse of the fans, and if it's anything different than what we think it is,
just worn out, exhausted on it. It's at this point, once you see how bad it is, it becomes comical in a way. So I think that's mostly where people at. Everybody wants to get rid of Derek Carr. I mean, the percent of people that don't, it's got to be lower than 5%.
Yeah.
So we don't want to continue to waste our time, and that's the biggest thing. I just feel like the time's getting wasted, especially when he goes and gets injured at the end of the year. It's just like it's the same old insanity that we're gonna keep going through. Let
me ask you this: if Derek Carr quarterback 17 games next year for the Saints,
okay,
how many? How many? And Garden Variety draft, they just take the draft choices they got, 1 or 2 somewhat inconsequential free agents. What do you think their record is next year?
I think it would be 9 and
I would say somewhere between 7 and 9 wins.
And I would respect him so much more if he would play the 7. I don't think I'd feel as bad about Derek Carr if he didn't have these injuries. It was at the end of when he was with the Raiders. It would start to be a problem with the what was it, the groin?
I think that was more manufactured because they wanted to sit him so he wouldn't get hurt, so they could cut him.
Yeah.
So I don't know that the last couple of games, but I guess my point is, Derek Carr plays 17 games next year. The Saints will probably win 7, 8, maybe 9 games, but they're not going anywhere. They're not building anything. No. And my biggest problem with Derek Carr being on the team, and he's not a bad quarterback, okay? He's not like the worst 10 quarterbacks in the league. I can find 10, 12, 14 guys worse than him.
Yeah.
But he's not a top 10 quarterback either. And my biggest problem is to keep Derek Carr on the squad next year. They're almost certainly going to have to restructure his contract, and then you in the Derek Carr business into 26 and maybe 27. So I'd rather him just, if you're going to play under this contract, and I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah.
So if you cut him, you take the big cap hit. Okay,
right.
You designate him post June 1, so you half it between this year and next year. So you're out of the Derek Carr business by the end of the 26 season. You throw this thing to Spencer Rattler, okay? Yeah. And then if Spencer Rattler spent the quarterback 17 games next year, your record's probably closer to 5-12 or 4-13, but you get some money off the books. You know that he's not the quarterback. You got to go find one. Bring in a Daniel Jones or Kirk Cousins to back him up if that makes you feel better.
Yeah.
But take your medicine
Yep.
and try to build this. But if you Band-Aid this thing again, you're gonna probably win. They got a 4th place schedule next year. That tiebreaker with Carolina was significant. You look at and I know everybody changes year to year in the league, but you look at that 4th place schedule with Derek Carr as the quarterback. Yeah, they hammer out 7-8 wins, probably 6, 7, 8 wins, something like that.
Right. And I think with the Spencer Rattler situation, I thought that towards the end, I thought that he was having good first halves, right?
He was,
and I thought his demise was the same demise that Kubiak was having, which was in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
So not only did Spencer Rattler struggle, but Kubiak struggled. One thing about Kubiak, the whole year, for the most part, he could not adjust with the adjustments that happened from the other team after half.
That happened. That's very easy to document.
Yeah,
those numbers.
To say that, Spencer Rattler, he doesn't really look like him. I mean, it's his first year. How many young quarterbacks, have we seen go through a just up and down first year? It's just like
everybody not named Jaden Daniels and CJ Stroud in the last 10 years, probably.
Right.
We're here at Ruffino's. Come by and see us for lunch. The lunch specials menu includes the oysters Lafouche, that is the panko fried oysters with the jumbo lump crab meat along with it. Pork bellies. We got the pork bellies with the shaved radish and the parsnip puree. This is usually what Jimmy does. He's better at menus than me, but I'm gonna knock it out. The fish feature today is pan-seared halibut with lobster claw meat. The pork chop a la vodka. This is the Parmesan crusted pork chops with the vodka tomato cream sauce. All of those here today on your Friday lunch menu at no red beans today.
Wow.
But that's Mondays for you, right?
But that sounded good. I mean, I got to be honest.
We're going to get you something good, believe me, here. At Ruffino's, come by and see us for lunch. Live at lunch here, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
United Community Bank, the local way to bank big with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow. We've been serving the people of Southern Louisiana for over 50 years, including their newest branch at Burbank and Bluebonnet. Our great team at United Community Bank, Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Prentice Wilkes, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, and David Henry. Running a business can be difficult enough without the right relationship with your bank. With United Community Bank's local business bankers, you're not just a number, you're a partner. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge is your new home for the New Orleans Pelicans.
Hey, dunks it! Oh, my heavens!
Our Pelicans coverage is presented locally by Industry Makes. Visit 1045ESPN.com for a complete list of games you'll hear on 104.5 FM, 104.9 FM, and 98.1 HD2. Listen to the New Orleans Pelicans on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, presented by Industry Makes. Let others make noise. We'll make everything else.
Demco is more than just an electric company. We're your local member-owned co-op, your neighbors, your family, and your friends. Whether it's helping you manage your account, offering energy-saving tips, or investing in the next generation through scholarships and youth programs, we're here for you every step of the way, enriching communities, building careers, and supporting the lives of our members. Demco, powering life and community. That's the cooperative difference.
GMFS, changing lives. T. Brown here, CEO of GMFS Mortgage, which we started in Baton Rouge in 1999. Thanks to you, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary. That's 25 years of helping thousands of you get into your dream homes, 25 years of helping thousands of you refinance to the best rate possible, and 25 years of helping many of you consolidate debts. The last 25 years would not have been possible without you, our clients, and our over 200 employees who come together every day through our Baton Rouge area offices and headquarters to provide you with award-winning customer service. If you're in the market to buy, build, renovate, or refinance, do what thousands of Louisianans have done over the past 25 years. Go to gmfsmortgage.com to start the process now and give us a chance to personally say thank you. GMFS, changing lives. GMFS NMLS number 64997 is an equal housing lender. Mortgages are originated at 7389 Florida Boulevard, Suite 200A, Baton Rouge, LA 70806, subject to credit and property approval.
After performing 30,000 dental implant procedures, the doctors here at Fusion Implant Center have witnessed life-changing transformation of so many patients. Hi, this is Dr. Leo Reagan.
And I'm Dr. Michael Casadban. Are you one of the 50 million people who are missing teeth and wearing dentures that just don't fit and are uncomfortable? Well, in just one day, you can have permanent teeth with a perfect smile.
The board-certified doctors here at the Fusion Implant Center guarantee your procedures to be done correctly, painlessly, and cost-effectively. We are the experts who teach these procedures all over the country.
This team of experts and our state-of-the-art operating rooms are conveniently located in one facility. This allows your treatment to be coordinated and can be started in as little as 10 to 14 days.
So don't go one more day feeling insecure or missing out on the ability to enjoy smiling and eating. Transform your smile in one day at the Fusion Implant Center. Call today or visit FusionImplantCenter.com.
Happy 10th anniversary to Vex European. That's 10 years of service, 10 years of specialization, 10 years of Vexpertise. If you drive a European vehicle, check them out online at VexEuropean.com. VexEuropean.com. That's Vex with a V.
Now, everybody's been to Louis Cafe by campus. Heck, it's been around since over 80 years now. We're still doing delicious omelets like the Mitchell, cheesy grits, Big Cheesy Lou, and those Louis Original Cajun hash browns. We now offer a pickup window. Just call in your order at 346-8221. Give us 15 or 20 minutes. We'll have it ready for you. Our hours are now 6:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., 7 days a week. So next time you visit campus, make it a point to stop by and visit an old friend. Louis Cafe, just outside the north gates of LSU.
If you live in Ascension or Livingston Parish, you need one of our red cans this new year. Just make the switch. It's a perfect New Year's resolution. Visit trashrangers.com and make the switch today.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
That's what, dude, I told him. I said, you got to
Live at lunch with Otten Hanny from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, LouisianaSports.net, 1045ESPN.com. New Handycasts up with the back half of the portal class, spotlighted this week on YouTube. Let's bring in Chris Massaro now out on the West Coast. Chris, good morning. I'm hoping that you can duplicate last week's performance because you were hot. You had the Buckeyes, you had the Rams, you had Buffalo over, and you just missed with Washington over by half a point. So let's keep that going. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Yeah, sitting there on Sunday night, we're at Circa watching that Washington game, and I mentioned on the show last week that I grabbed the Commanders, or whatever you like to call that team, most points for the weekend. And who would have thought that the Texans would have been the number one highest scoring team with 32 points? But if you look back at that Washington-Tampa game, you could obviously see where Washington left at least 9, probably maybe 21 points on the field, where they could have actually been that highest scoring team. That would have been a perfect end to a really solid weekend. But I appreciate the comments, and hopefully we can get something going again this week.
Yeah, I didn't think the Texans 32 would hold up for the weekend after game one, but it did. So hey, listen, we took a shot, but we got home with the rest of them. So we got 4 games in the divisional round, Chris. Before we get to the national championship game on Monday night, what are you looking at in the NFL on Saturday and Sunday?
Well, the dilemma I have is I'm a big future guy, so I have a lot of different scenarios from preseason, middle of the season. I actually played, this is about 6 weeks ago, maybe even longer, maybe 6 or 7 weeks ago. Very short money. I have a Buffalo Rams Super Bowl exact either way. So ideally, that would be my favorite matchup. But it's tough to look at this Buffalo team and say, how are they going to pull off this win? I mean, we saw what happened in, week 3 or 4, where Baltimore was just able to run all over Buffalo. Granted, Milano was out. But, I mean, this Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson combo, cold weather, who really wants to tackle Derrick Henry? Buffalo is a little light in the loafers when it comes to defensive, just the weight of some of their guys. They seem like they're a smaller defensive team. I'm just not sure. On the plus side for Buffalo, Zay Flowers doesn't look like he's going to play for Baltimore. You have the Lamar Jackson factor, but you also have the Josh Allen factor. Neither one of these teams has got, they haven't made the Super Bowl. Buffalo hasn't even made a AFC Championship game. It's such a toss-up game. I could see, Buffalo and the crowd being a major factor, but I just can't I can't put a pick on it. I'm going to root for Buffalo in the game due to the futures, but I'm just hoping that's the marquee game. That's the late game on Sunday. I'm hoping for, one of those classic shootout type of games. If anything, I'm going to lean over in that game. And if you have a particular side you really like, maybe you play a teaser. Either way, with the over in that game. Looking at some of the other games, I could really make a case for all the underdogs. Houston played Kansas City really tough about 4 or 5 weeks ago. The big injury to Dell at the end there, where he blew his knee out. And I just wonder if Kansas City and their weak offensive line, the tackles, are going to be able to put up with Houston's front four. They've been getting a lot of pressure. They did it last week to Herbert, and that secondary is just absolutely incredible for Houston. I'm not sure if Houston could put up enough points, but I could see that game being a real close game down to the end. And Kansas City, as we've known all year, hasn't really covered any of these games. They're not a cover machine, and 8 points on a cold day in Kansas City, I'm just not sure. Do you guys have any strong feelings either way on these games?
This is the only. These are the only two teams left in the playoffs that have a losing record against the number all year, and this one to me is the hardest of the games to handicap, because I had kind of written the Texans off. Yep. I thought that the Chargers would beat them last week, and I was really surprised at the physicality. I was surprised at the pass rush they were able to put up. I can't in good conscience pick them to beat Kansas City. That's the game I'm laying off. To be honest with you, I hate to root against you, but I'm bullish on Baltimore. I like the Ravens, but the Texans Chiefs is the one game I'll probably lay off of, and the game I probably should lay off of, because I think I know what I'm going to do, and it's a hard pick, is take the Commanders. We knew what the odds were against Jaden Daniels going last week. The rookie quarterback number in the playoffs was 5-17, but so we just laid off the game. I just want to root for the guy, Chris. The LSU guy. I want to root for him.
I'm with you.
But it's a lot to ask a rookie to go on the road and win 2 games in his rookie season, and I think the Lions are much the best there. But I may take a flyer with the Commanders, and the points there are even at ridiculous over as high as it is. Man, there should be a bunch of points in that game. So that's the game I'm probably going to end up losing money on, because I'm gonna take the Commanders, even though I know better in that game. But I'm laying off Texans and Chiefs. So we'll give you the Texans plus the 8. I don't hate the pick. I think they got a decent chance to cover. What about Rams and Eagles?
Well, the Rams are just, what a performance the last few weeks. The defense, which was left for dead, at the beginning of the season, and even in that Philadelphia game about 7 weeks ago where Barkley rushed for like 1 million yards, I just feel the Rams are just peaking at the right time. They can get pressure with the front four without blitzing. Their defensive backs have been playing really well. You have Stafford as, the veteran quarterback, where if you blitz him, he's going to kill you. Puka is about as sure-handed as I've ever seen as a receiver, only in the second year. They've been able to run the ball with Williams. I really think that Rams are peaking. The only problem with this game is now they're saying it might be a snow game or it might be extra cold, and we'll have to see about the weather. Sometimes the weather is, they say one thing and you turn the TV on, it's not as bad. But I can't in good conscience lay the 6 with Philadelphia. This offense has looked really weak. You have dissension on the sidelines with A.J. Brown reading the book. And it's just like they kind of misusing Saquon Barkley. He didn't get as many carries until the end. I know that's kind of their motive. They try to, wear you down and then give it to Barkley in the fourth where he could have broke one for that touchdown. Yeah. But I just don't think, I think 6 points is too much. If the Rams can get some pressure up front without blitzing like they did against Minnesota, I think the offense should be able to put up enough points to hang within this number. Like I said, I could see all the dogs having a case. As you mentioned, Washington, I want to root for them too. I was high on Washington all season, had the win total over and had them to make the playoffs. I have them in a substantial NFC ticket at 40-1 from the middle of September.
Wow.
So I'm obviously going to be – I'm playing some hedges with – you're going to have to play some money lines with Detroit and Baltimore, to try to stay up, keep something afloat in case you get wiped out all 4 of your games or all your futures. But if there's one team that Detroit probably doesn't want to see. You kind of got to think it's Washington. Washington's had trouble running the ball, but you can run on Detroit. And in their passing game with the dynamic play of Daniels, I mean, who's better than McLaurin and Ertz and Zacchaeus? I mean, and the fact that he can run, I think that's going to pose some problems for a Detroit defense. I know it looked good 2 weeks ago against Minnesota, but I think Minnesota is, what we've seen the last couple of weeks is Minnesota's true colors. So I'm not sure how good Detroit's defense is with all those injuries. I could see Washington hanging here. And if you look around, you can find 9.5 out there. Kind of a key number. I mean, you get it above that, that 2-point conversion angle where they're going, they're coming down or they're up by 8. Or I think if Washington can not get intimidated early, they should be able to hang around. I mean, they have 6 walk-off wins. It's unbelievable.
I hope you're right. One more note on that Eagles Rams game. When they played in the regular season, Philadelphia ran for 314 yards. 255 of that was Saquon. I can't imagine that Sean McVay is going to let that happen again. He's too good of a coach. So if Jalen Hurts, who looked out of sorts last week, can beat him, then God bless. But if they let Saquon Barkley go loose again like that, I'll be surprised. So I do like your Rams pick a little bit there too. Chris, let's talk about the national championship game on Monday night. Ohio State, about an 8-point choice right now over Notre Dame.
Yeah, like I said a couple of weeks back, I got Ohio State at plus 120. Obviously, they're minus 385 now to win the whole thing. I'm not going to hedge on this game. I haven't made an additional play on the game, but if I was going to make an additional play, which I still might, I'm going to go under Notre Dame team total, 17.5. You look at the last game versus Penn State, there was 3 points at the end of the first half. The game was 10-10. After the third quarter, it got a little loose in the fourth quarter. Notre Dame's only explosive play in the passing game in the entire playoffs was that 54-yard touchdown pass to Jaden Greathouse, where the 2 Penn State defensive backs fell down. So they just haven't been able to make any explosive plays in the passing game. The one explosive play they had in the running game was that 98-yard touchdown right off the bat against Indiana by Jeremiah Love. But most of the game, it's just like these design runs for Riley Leonard, and it just pounded at 3 yards in a cloud of dust type of offense. And first, the speed of Ohio State on both sides of the ball, I just don't see them putting up many points. Even in the Georgia game, they had the play at the end of the half, 23 seconds left with the strip sack fumble. And, they get a short field, they score right away, and then they return the opening kickoff of the second half, for a touchdown. So the scores are a little skewed. I really don't think Notre Dame has much of an offense to compete in this game. I was a little concerned about Will Howard, but I guess it's just a blood vessel that was popped. There wasn't any sort of break or bone or any issue with the hand. That was a pretty gruesome looking bump on his hand in the court. I definitely think that affected him in the game. So as long as that's squared away, as long as Will Howard doesn't do anything out of the ordinary and crazy, where he just put the ball into precarious situations. And Notre Dame is very good on the turnovers, and I would give them the coaching advantage just a little bit, Freeman over Day. But I just think the athletes and the talent and the speed of Ohio State is going to be too much. I think they hoist that Crystal trophy. I think they win the national championship, and I don't think Notre Dame puts more than 17.5 points on the board.
Chris, we always appreciate your time. Thanks a lot, man. We'll talk to you next week. Enjoy the games.
All right. Thank you. You too. Have a great weekend, guys.
We're brought to you by Total Maintenance, AC and heating, generators, electricity, plumbing. Total Maintenance, your one-stop sales shop for all of South Louisiana's heating and air conditioning needs. Since 1980, the slogan's been service today. Every day you call today, you get service today, so you don't have to go to sleep uncomfortable. Full service staff in New Orleans and Baton Rouge. Authorized dealer for Carrier, American Standard, Daykin, and Rheem AC units. Generac and Cummings generators. In Baton Rouge, 480-1000. In New Orleans, 841-3300. Service today, every day at Total Maintenance. Live at Ruffino's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Chad Reynolds, a Legacy Title, 296-0060 for all of you real estate closings. Ashley Donald, Mariana Haynes, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, our great staff at Legacy Title. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds, a Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Water is water, right? Not when it's Evermore. Smooth tasting Evermore water is Mother Nature's masterpiece. Evermore is natural artesian water. Maybe you want a healthier lifestyle, a high-end athlete who wants better hydration, or a parent who wants something healthier for their kids. You want Evermore. EVAMOR. Evermore. Available at great local retailers.
Get Moss Max and less text during happy hour at Modesto. Join us Tuesday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. for $10 20-ounce margaritas and dip trio with $5 drink specials and $6 seasonal cocktails. Eat Modesto, 3930 Burbank Drive.
Pizza that's true to its hand-tossed wood-fried tradition. Roca Pizzeria is heating up its new half-off happy hour, Monday through Fridays, 3 to 6 p.m. Come enjoy 50% off margarita, pepperoni, or cheese, craft cocktails, wine by the glass, and draft beer. Roca Pizzeria, 3897 Government.
Now at Staples, find hot deals on HP, America's most trusted printer brand. Whether you need to print invoices or eye-catching presentations, HP delivers with exceptional speed, reliability, and vibrant color. And with HP, replenishing ink is simple. Find HP ink cartridges in-store at Staples or subscribe to HP Instant Ink and never worry about running out. And right now with home and office hot deals at Staples, you can save up to $150 on select HP printers through February 1st.
Shop can't miss deals going on now during Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. For a limited time, get a free adjustable stand when you buy a DeWalt 12-inch miter saw. That's a $229 value. Plus, save $680 on a Midea 4-piece kitchen appliance suite. Now just $17.96. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Valid 113 through 124. Cannot be combined with additional discounts while supplies last. See store or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
Majestic Metals is located in Sorrento with over 60 years experience in the pre-engineered metal building industry. Majestic Metals is the leading metal roofing manufacturer with high-quality products, superior customer service, and a fast turnaround. We offer both commercial and residential roofing, including a standing seam panel in a variety of colors with a 40-year paint warranty. A metal roof can add value to your home and is energy efficient. Call Majestic Metals at 225-675-3800 and talk to our knowledgeable sales staff for all your commercial and residential needs. Visit us on the web at majesticmetalsinc.com.
Did your doctor prescribe physical therapy? And when you went to the location closest to your house, did they really work on you to get rid of your problem? Or did they take you through a list of exercises you could find on Google? Ladies and gentlemen, that is not physical therapy. My name is Robbie Bolton, owner of Evolve Physical Therapy and Sports. And if you're an active individual and you're having nagging knee pain with running, or your elbow or shoulder hurts with tennis or hitting a volleyball, don't go to someone's one of many locations. Come to the location. Evolve Physical Therapy and Sports on Starring Lane.
The action is heating up this playoff season at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Lock in your touchdown picks, check out trending parlays, and increase your winnings with profit boosts. New customers can get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. And unlock 30 days of ESPN Plus. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code RADIO to get started today. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. In partnership with Laverick's Lake Charles. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Darren James and Associates, powered by LPT Realty, commit to excellent service unlike any other. Darren and his team save buyers as much money as possible. If you're ready to buy or sell your home, call Darren James or visit agent225.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
Jimmy, Charlie, and Troy. 3 best buddies sitting around talking sports bets. Let's welcome in Troy Macker from Bet Rivers.
They return here at Ruffino's Live at Lunch. Holomeo hanging in here with us for Jimmy Ott. We bring in Troy Macker from Bet Rivers, who I think has they just wrapped up the Commanders' victory party about 15 minutes ago. This guy has been waiting 20 years for that game. Troy, how did it feel, man? Lifelong Washington fan. It's been a minute since you got to experience something like Sunday night.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. This has been a really fun season. Just how well they played in the first few weeks. And then you think, when the schedule got tougher, that they started losing games and they dropped a game they shouldn't have. and you figured out, the first half of the season was a mirage. And then over the last 5 games, Jaden Daniels showed everyone how clutch he was, how poised he was, and they won games late. And certainly they did not have the greatest schedule in the world this year, but they came back and beat the Falcons, which were on the cusp of the playoffs. They came back and beat the Eagles, which are obviously the number 2 seed. And obviously what they did against the Buccaneers last week, a team that woodshedded them in week 1. This has been such a fun season to be a fan of, one that we don't get a lot of. But it is funny because even in the back of my mind, the last time we had a really good season was with a former Heisman quarterback, number 2 overall pick, who led us to the playoffs, who was electric, who was the Rookie of the Year, and the next season everything fell apart. Now, I don't anticipate that happening, but having been a fan of such a battered franchise for 30 years, I can't help but think, like, okay, let's just take this one step at a time. I don't even want to think about next year because this could all fall apart.
I grew up a Saints fan, Troy. You don't have to explain. Okay, till we got Drew Brees, we were in a wasteland for 30 some odd years. So I understand. Where's the action this week? We got 4 divisional games. What kind of splits we looking at?
Yeah, well, heavy money on the favorite. The Chiefs to win and the Chiefs to cover. Both really strong plays. Chiefs to cover is over 80%, just barely, which is a big surprise considering it's 8.5 points. That's a lot of points for a playoff game. And the Texans looked very good last week. They hadn't looked good in the previous weeks. The running game was pretty terrible in the last 4 weeks, but they were excellent against the Chargers. To have the Chiefs at 8.5 point favorite at 80% for a playoff game is very surprising. 96% of the money is on the Chiefs to win. The Chiefs to win is right now 14% of all the money we've taken on playoff games is on the Chiefs to win. 13% of all the money we've taken is on the Chiefs to cover. So that is, that's where the public is backing. The Lions are also there. 10% of all the money is on the Lions. 8% of all the money is on the Lions to cover. And those splits, 87% of the money is on the Lions to win, and 81% of the tickets is on the Lions to win. Lions -9, the split is 74%, which is the second strongest behind the Chiefs, and 54% of the tickets is on the Lions. The tickets is really where things get interesting because, we're seeing 80% of the money is on the Chiefs to cover, 74% of the money is on the Lions to cover. On the tickets, it's completely different. 62% of the money is on the Chiefs -8.5, 54% of the money is on Lions -9. Ravens -1 is 52%, and the Eagles -6 is barely over 50%. So the public really, from a ticket standpoint, is very, very split or close to being split, where we're seeing a lot of sharp money on the favorites, but not that case with the ticket.
All right, our friend Mayo here is a big MMA fan, and so he's got some questions because he's got a huge card coming up this weekend, Dev.
Yeah, Troy. So I'm looking at it, man, and the first thing I see is Marab +225. Anybody who knows anything about Marab, this dude's relentless. His gas tank is crazy. Would you consider that a good bet at +225 to take Marab on Saturday night?
Yeah, I would. It's not the first time we've seen a champion go into a fight as an underdog. And he is fighting, the cousin of Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
Their training camp is elite. And the gas tank and the wrestling that Marab has is going to be matched by Umar, his opponent. That being said, Marab has faced far better competition. Sean O'Malley, he beats. Now, it was a close decision, but he wrestled him into the ground. He beat Henry Cejudo, who was a two-division champion, a gold medalist in the Olympics. He beat Peter Yan, who was a former champion. He beat Jose Aldo, who was a former champion. Marlon Moraes, who was a top contender. And Nurmagomedov has not fought that level of competition. So when you get +250 on the champ, and there's not a huge size disparity, not a huge reach advantage, I do think that's a great price. This is a loaded card, just not for the casual fan. We have a lot of Dagestani Russian fighters, a lot of international fighters, so it doesn't, reach the wide audience. But these fights should be electric. They're really well balanced. There's the main event, Islam versus Arman Tsarukyan, should be very well balanced. The rematch from a fight 5 years ago, Yuri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill is going to be a banger. Kevin Holland versus Rainier de Ridder, who I've been watching. He's been fighting for ONE FC in Indonesia for the past few years, just made his UFC debut. He was a two-division champion and is making a step up in competition, but this is a very loaded card. It just getting lost in the shuffle because, we're on anticipating, the college football championship game and obviously NFL playoffs this weekend.
So give us who's your favorite bet on the card for Saturday?
So my favorite is it's minus 250, so not great value, but it's Jamal Hill, Europe, not to go the distance. This fight there will be a stoppage. The problem is I would love to take an over/under, but really they're only offering over/under 1.5 rounds, and I don't love that. And you can't really get an alt line at 3.5 rounds. I would probably take 3.5 rounds. So I'm just going to go. This fight will not go the distance, minus 250. And then I also like Rainer de Ritter, money line, minus 130 against Kevin Holland. He has not faced the quality of competition that Kevin Holland has. Kevin Holland, also a good submission specialist, but he is up and down, doesn't always employ the greatest fight tactics. And Rainer de Ritter is very, very good. It's going to be one of the few times that Holland does not have a sizable reach or height advantage. So that's one I like. And then also Renato Moicano, minus 166 against Daniil Dariush. Yeah, I really like that. Daniil Dariush is on the backside of his career, lost the last 2 fights via TKO or KO, and Moicano has won his last 2 fights via KO. If you wanted to take the KO or TKO from Moicano, it's plus 300. I'd probably settle for the money line at minus 166.
All right, before we let you go, Ohio State, and we're going to be able a chance to talk to you on Monday about this, but before the weekend, and it's not even early, this match has been set for a week now, but where's the money right now before we get to game day on Ohio State, Notre Dame?
Yeah, it's on Notre Dame. The sports book will be rooted heavily for Ohio State. 63% of the spread money is on Notre Dame. 56% of the money line money is on Notre Dame. Now, the tickets are a little bit different. 67% of the money line tickets are on Ohio State, but 56% of the spread tickets are on Notre Dame. It should come as no surprise that Notre Dame is a very public team. This is not a toss-up. This is not a 1.5 point spread game. Ohio State is a clear-cut favorite. They played exceptional football over the last 3 games, but Notre Dame is arguably the most public team in the country, maybe save Alabama. So the public is going to be dumping money and will continue to dump money on Notre Dame is my prediction. So the sportsbook will be heavily rooting for Ohio State, which is a surprise given that they are 7.5 point favorite, which is something you don't see very often.
Yeah, they are. They're well over a touchdown. We're seeing 8.5 in some places here. Troy, have a great weekend. Thanks so much. We're going to be pulling for you Commanders on Saturday night for sure. We had a ball down in Mississippi last week pulling for them. The sportsbook was live for that great game against Tampa. So hopefully we'll get that again. We're rooting for Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. Have a great weekend, buddy.
You do the same. Thanks, guys.
And we'll take a break here live at lunch, live at Ruffino's 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Workbox Services can handle all of your movable storage needs, commercial and residential. Our shipping containers come in various sizes, 8x10, 8x8, 8x20, 8x40, not just one size. These units can be customized for any use. Custom lunchrooms, offices, work sites for plumbers or welders, dual purpose, part office, part storage, climate control, shelving, lighting, using different materials, whatever you need. Give my buddy Martin Padial, Workbox, a call at 343-4886, workboxllc.com. Need more space? Workbox LLC has the storage solutions you can count on. Whether you're a homeowner, commercial contractor, or industrial business, we have the space for you. Our secure, versatile storage units are ready to meet your needs. Contractors, keep your site organized and efficient. Store your materials with us and access them anytime you need. Businesses, industries of any size, Workbox LLC is your trusted partner for flexible, safe storage. Workbox 343-4886 and workboxllc.com.
New Fords, hundreds of used cars. Find it all at Robinson Brothers Ford. Find our biggest savings on 2024 Expeditions. Save $12,000 off MSRP. $12,000 off Expeditions. Buy the 2024 Edge and get $6,500 off MSRP. Plus, save big on every F-150 and F-250 in stock. And as always, no unexpected fees. Find it all at Robinson Brothers Ford. Excludes TTNL, registration, insurance, and dealer dock fees. Courtesy transportation units. Cash from dealer and Ford. Ends 2/3/2025.
Now that it's cooler outside, this is the perfect time of year to get new windows, doors, and siding by calling me, Tommy, from Tommy's Windows, Doors, and Siding. So set up your free quote today at GoTommys.com. That's GEAUX Tommys.com.
Hey, Baton Rouge, remember
Remember Red Stick Sports, your hometown favorite since 1981. They've been here through every season, serving our community with pride. Still family owned and operated, they're more than just a store. They're a part of your life. Whether it's football, baseball, or any sport in between, they've got you covered. Any season, for any reason. Red Stick Sports is there for you. Swing by today and keep the spirit alive. Red Stick Sports, where every game begins. 5770 Essen Lane.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites.
The new location of Los Reyes Mexican Grill, Wesley across from Mike Anderson's. Man, the place looks great. Lots of indoor and outdoor seating options with plenty of big TVs to watch all your favorite games. All of the traditional Mexican cuisine with a great happy hour, 2:30 to 6:30, 7 days a week. Plus, $5 margaritas all day, all night on Wednesdays. Great spot to bring the baseball team in between games, just 5 minutes north of Traction and 5 minutes south of LSU. Los Reyes Mexican Grill, 1072 West Lee, near Nicholson.
We are the soldiers of the Louisiana Army National Guard. We are your neighbors. We are your sons and daughters. While we serve part-time, we are learning valuable life and job skills. We are earning money for college, for trade and technical schools, and for certifications. We are proud to serve both our country and our home state. We are your Louisiana Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the Louisiana Army National Guard. Aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Electric Man of Baton Rouge is here to help with 24/7 residential and commercial electrical services. With years of experience, Electric Man aims to deliver fast and dedicated electrical services without compromising safety, quality, and integrity. Licensed and insured professionals to do the job for you worry-free. Electric Man offers guaranteed appointment times and free estimates, offering veteran and senior discounts also. Find Electric Man at electricmanbatonrouge.com to schedule your guaranteed appointment time. electricmanbatonrouge.com, 225-800-7065.
Happy New Year from all of us at Trash Rangers of Louisiana. Start your new year out right. Visit trashrangers.com and make the switch today.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
Live at lunch with Odd and Hanny from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Back here at Ruffino's live at lunch. Jimmy will be with us in the second hour via the phone line. Mayo hanging in here with us. Man, you know what I get asked about you a lot is, first of all, how they can listen when the show is. I know a lot of people know about the post-game show, but that doesn't end at the end of football season. And then the number one question: how do you pick where you go and eat on Mondays?
Yeah, it's so at this point we have 245 Mondays in a row.
Wow.
So yeah, it's it like I said, it happens so quick. Mondays come so quick. So really, when I get off the bench, that's when I start looking. It's very in the moment. And yeah, it just is what it is. Don't get me wrong. When I say I'm tired of it, I'm not tired of eating red beans.
Right.
It's just a lot that Monday happens so quick. Like what day? It's Friday already. You know what I'm saying? So we almost there. But anyway, as far as the show, still doing it. Still open up the phone line
on Sundays.
Find it on YouTube. Hold the Mayo. Just how it sounds. Hold the Mayo on YouTube. I'm on Twitter a lot. Hold the Mayo on Twitter.
So what time on Sundays? Not the football season's over. I know you do the post game, but when there's no game, what time?
Yeah, it's gonna be at night. So after the last football game ends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and then once football's over, it's usually around 6, 7 o'clock. I always schedule it though, so you'll always see it scheduled. It'll tell you the time and everything. And just trying to grow to YouTube, man. Staying with it.
All right, I got a great following, and it's a lot of fun. You make it a lot of fun, and man, like I said, for somebody who does post game, when the team is not performing, it gets a little a little heated.
Yeah.
but
that's also depressing too, because you remember those first 2 weeks when the Saints were doing good and how everybody, Saints are going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And,
But you told me it didn't get, the apathy didn't get there. There were still people that were into it, even in week 17 after they had been,
and I think
eliminated.
I think the QB situation, as far as like Rattler playing, helps with people giving their opinion, because you're getting to watch this guy, this young guy that we will all hype over, so they're going to have an opinion.
Well, it was different. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
you want to see what you got. It's like scratching off the lottery ticket. Okay. It might, somebody got to win, right? We might have found a quarterback. My thoughts is it probably Rattler's a career backup in the league, but I don't know that. I might get a chance to see it a little bit more. Hour number 2, straight ahead here from Ruffino's on Highland Road, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
It's a new year. Aren't you ready to finally get the IRS off your back? Hi, I'm attorney Kerry Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm. We've helped so many people figure out their IRS issues, and they always tell us they wish they'd called us sooner. Friends, the IRS isn't going away. Matter of fact, they're ramping up their efforts. So now's the time to call the Bryson Law Firm and let us get between you and the IRS and make your life better. If you have wage levies, bank levies, tax liens, or unpaid taxes, call the Bryson Law Firm and let us get out in front of the IRS and devise your best resolution plan. IRS problems are legal problems. So call the Bryson Law Firm. We're local. Our headquarters are in Lafayette, and we have offices statewide. Or visit BrysonLawFirm.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Bryson Law Firm. Results may vary. LSBA filing number LA2316155.
This is Charles Hanniger for Home Bank. If you're tired of the impersonal, one-size-fits-all style of banking, you deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for your businesses and families because they go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business and good for life. Stop by any South Louisiana, Houston, or Natchez area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
GMFS, changing lives.
T. Brown here, CEO of GMFS Mortgage, which we started in Baton Rouge in 1999. Thanks to you, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary. That's 25 years of helping thousands of you get into your dream homes, 25 years of helping thousands of you refinance to the best rate possible, and 25 years of helping many of you consolidate debts. The last 25 years would not have been possible without you, our clients, and our over 200 employees who come together every day through our Baton Rouge area offices and headquarters to provide you with award-winning customer service. If you're in the market to buy, build, renovate, or refinance, do what thousands of Louisianans have done over the past 25 years. Go to gmfsmortgage.com to start the process now and give us a chance to personally say thank you.
GMFS, changing lives.
GMFS MLS number 64997 is an equal housing lender. Mortgages are originated at 7389 Florida Boulevard, Suite 200A, Baton Rouge, LA 70806, subject to credit and property approval.
Before every game, you're reminded that Tiger Stadium is a pantheon of concrete and steel. When it was time to add upper decks, do you know where that concrete came from? It's Louisiana Concrete Products. Whether it's the next Gulf hurricane or Death Valley earthquake, you can trust Louisiana Concrete Products.
Looking for some time away but don't want to go too far? The Cook Hotel at LSU is just what you've been searching for. Book your getaway today and enjoy a peaceful escape overlooking the University Lake in any of their luxurious guest rooms or suites. Their newly renovated bar is back open for service, and they're located near some of the best restaurants in town. Visit thecookhotel.com or call 225-383-2665 to book your stay today.
Are you looking for the perfect ride for your next getaway? Rent a car for the week at All-Star Toyota and only pay for 6 days. You get 7 days of adventure for the price of just 6. So whether you're headed out on a road trip, you need a vehicle for the week, or just want something new to drive, we've got you covered.
At All-Star Toyota, we offer a wide selection of Toyota vehicles ready to hit the road when you are. Conveniently located at Airline and Goodwood in Baton Rouge. Visit us today or check out our website at allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com for more details.
All-Star Toyota, people you know, cars you trust.
Why do billion-dollar insurance companies regularly delay and deny valid claims? Because that's how they got to be billion-dollar insurance companies. If you've been injured, I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7969.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21 12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Live at lunch with Otten Hanny from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Return here at Ruffino's for hour number 2. Holomeo hanging in here with for Jimmy Ott. Oysters Lafouche on the menu today with jumbo lump crab meat, the panko fried oysters, pork bellies with the parsnip puree. Fish feature today is pan-seared halibut and the pork chop a la vodka, the Parmesan crusted pork chops with the vodka tomato cream sauce, the Italian cheese blend here at Ruffino's on Highland Road. Let's bring in Bruce Marshall, as we always do on Fridays. Bruce, good afternoon. How are you?
Good. I just had an everything bagel for breakfast.
Is that exactly what it sounds like? An everything bagel?
Yeah, I mean, just all sorts of stuff. But that Parmesan crusted pork chops, I would have opted for that if I had a choice.
You know what your problem is every week when you come on with us, it's lunchtime here and just like brunch time there. You're just getting over breakfast. So we're always able to trump you. We can, believe me, we can beat whatever you're having for breakfast here at Ruffino's for sure. All right, Bruce, let's get into divisional weekend in the NFL. 4 games starting tomorrow. So let's start right at the top. Texans, about an 8-point underdog, most places where we're looking here, to the Chiefs, and then the Commanders, 9.5-point underdog to the Lions tomorrow.
Yeah, Houston, I think, credit them for fighting their way back and making plays, especially defense. I never hold that against a team to 2 pick sixes in a game. They were on the ball defensively. They took advantage of the Chargers just not executing. I don't think, though, that's going to happen tomorrow at Arrowhead. Now, my only reluctance with the Chiefs is that they were not a good point spread team this year. We do note that 7-game spread losing streak they had late in the season. They did sort of turn it around in December, at least as far as the point spread goes. And by the way, I'm excluding that Denver game because
sure, yeah, they didn't want to win that game.
Rested everybody. Yeah, they just didn't care. But included in that was a win over Houston by 8 at home. I don't, and you got. I mean, the Chiefs playing this. They haven't played the starters really since Christmas, so it's going to be over 3 weeks since they get on the field tomorrow. But Houston just doesn't have the look to me, Charlie. This of a team that's going to stay on the merry-go-round beyond this weekend. The offense did not do a lot last week, and even though they started to run a little better in the second half, for this team to really fire on all cylinders, you're going to need C.J. Stroud on the mark, and he really hasn't been, especially the second half of the season. And part of that is because he's down a couple of key wideouts. I mean, no Tank Dell, no Diggs. He still has Nico Collins there, but he did not have near the season this year he had a year ago, and he didn't look all that comfy last week either. I think this is where it ends for the Texans here, and I'd be inclined to lay the points there with Kansas City. One other note: all those games last weekend went under, save the Houston Chargers game. When you watch that one, you would have thought that's the one that should have went under, but they had a couple the pick sixes and then that kind of fluky long touchdown for the Chargers. But under was also really the trend last weekend, so I might look at that too, but I think I'll go KC here.
Commanders and the Lions, Jaden Daniels bucking the trend last week, the number with rookie quarterbacks on the road in the playoffs. They get the win late. He made some huge plays in that game, but the Lions are big step up in class for Washington. They're getting David Montgomery back in this game. We'll see how effective he can be. Jahmyr Gibbs was great in his absence. He was great all year, really. They get Montgomery back. Commanders 9.5-point choice and a huge total in this game of 55.5.
Yeah, that is up there high. And after we talked about the unders last weekend, you wonder, is this one too high? Though I'm not too sure about that because Detroit is sort of the exception to the rule that's just hitting overdrive every single possession with them. They do get Montgomery back. They didn't seem to miss him. They just used Jahmyr Gibbs more, and he was certainly very effective down the stretch those last few weeks without Montgomery. And the Lions certainly looked good. The defense played its best game in a long time against the Vikings in that last regular season game to win the NFC North and the top seed. They also have had a week off, so they can rest up a little bit. They are still, though, minus some key guys on defense. And I just wonder sometimes about this extreme gung-hoism, I guess that's how I'd call it, for Dan Campbell, and just, ignoring conventional thought here and all these fourth downs and things. I'd point out, I mean, that NFC title game last year, there's a lot of Lions fans who think that needless risks by Campbell going for it on fourth down, eschewing field goals and things like that, contributed to that loss. And I sort of buy that thinking. I think Washington is interesting here. And just talking to people around the league in different places, I mean, Jaden Daniels, he's sort of like almost impervious to the pressure. I mean, he's smiling, he's kind of laughing about it. He's sort of laughing in the face of pressure. And that if there is a team really playing with house money here in this round, left in the playoffs, more than Houston, this is the team, because Daniels is providing that sort of leadership. And they made some plays last week, and the defense came up with some plays too against Tampa Bay. That forcing that turnover to get the ball back late. Washington's got something interesting here. They've been a good point spread team too. I think the Commanders push this thing deep into the fourth quarter. This one I might look over as well, just because Detroit is sort of in its own category the way they play. But higher scoring, maybe Detroit wins close. But I'm taking Jaden Daniels and the Reds and the Commanders. Plus, I mean, they are dangerous looking to me.
This is the mother of all house money to me. Washington's win total before the season, I don't remember, but I'm going to say somewhere around 6 in that area. So not only do you have a team that has completely overachieved, double overachieved, but they've won games in the most exciting manner. The Hail Mary against Chicago, the last play of the game against Philadelphia, an arch rival there, and then the playoff win against Tampa. They have new ownership. They have a new coach. They have a new quarterback. They've got a quarterback that they feel like probably will be there, for a decade or more. So they're going to be in the hunt. They've been out of it for 20 plus years with Daniel Snyder. This is, I could, if I were a Washington fan, just kind of trying to play along with them, and they get along and they lose tomorrow, okay? Even if they lose big, I would feel so excited about the future. And I've got a little bit of experience with this. The Saints in 2006.
Yep.
Okay. The Saints were terrible before that. Coming off the Katrina year. They had a great year. They made it to the NFC Championship game, and they got beat by 25 points. I thought the game was closer than that, but they got beat by 25 points. And when that game was over, one step away from the Super Bowl, I said, man, I'm so pumped about the Saints. They just haven't lost by 25 points. I am so pumped about the Saints in the future. That's how I would feel if I was a Washington fan, even if they get beat tomorrow. I am pumped about the future. Yeah. So this is the ultimate house money. Yeah.
It is. One other note. I mean, Washington also, I almost thought the most exciting moment of the year is actually in the game they lost. But with the first Dallas game, and again, I mean, when Jaden hit McLaurin that 86-yard TD within the last 20 seconds, I mean, you do stuff like that. I know they ended up losing that game. They missed the extra point, but big plays at those times, they keep making them. And the Bears game and the Philadelphia game, and even last week, I mean, there's a little magic dust about these guys right now.
The only bad thing about Washington's run is that I will no longer be able to steal Terry McLaurin in the end of fantasy drafts anymore. I've been living with that guy, but that's over. All right, Bruce, let's move to Sunday. Rams and the Eagles first game. Philadelphia won the first game between these two teams by 17 points and ran for 314 yards. I suspect that won't happen again against Sean McVay, but we've seen this line creep up a little bit. 6.5 is what we're showing right now with the Eagles in game one.
I think the Eagles, I don't expect this to look at all like the first game. And Charlie, there was a point there in November, the Rams went a little bit flat. I mean, they lost that game at home to Miami. That was a Monday nighter, and then they kind of struggled at New England the next week. And then they had the Sunday nighter with the Eagles, and they got whipped. And Saquon had 255 himself in that game. There's some big runs in the fourth quarter. I don't expect that to happen. One thing about the Rams down the stretch here, that defense in December was putting up, starting with that 49er game. And once the Buffalo game was done, the rest of four of their next 5 games, they've allowed single digits. The only one they didn't was when McVay was resting a lot of the starters in that last game against Seattle. So the defense looks like it's doing some things better here. The Rams actually, once you got beyond the first month and Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua got back, giving Stafford his targets, and Karen Williams is a really, really effective back too. This offense has been balanced. They've been doing all the Sean McVay stuff. They're very dangerous. I think the Eagles are in some trouble here. I know it was Hurts had been out for a couple of weeks into that game last week, but he looked very rusty. I thought Green Bay just missed some poor execution, some bad decisions by Jordan Love last week, or the Packers could have won that game. I don't expect Stafford to make those same sorts of mistakes. I don't expect Saquon to go wild. I thought the Eagles were a little fortunate a week ago. I think this is an upset possibility. I'll definitely take the Rams. I consider taking it on the money line. Listen, you got a quarterback who's won a Super Bowl here and a coach who's won one as well. I'll take McVay over Sirianni with the chips are down. I know what happened in the first game. It ain't going to be 37-20 again. I'll guarantee you that.
If McVay makes Jalen Hurts beat him instead of Saquon Barkley, I love the Rams' chances here. Hurts lingering effects of the concussion or whatever it was last week, he looked really, really rough. And I just don't expect that McVay will allow Barkley to go crazy the way he had 255 in that first game. If Hurts can throw it over their head, God bless. But you're not going to beat me with 300 yards on the ground again. Last game, Ravens and the Bills. Baltimore opened a small underdog. They are now a small favorite. First time Buffalo's ever been a playoff underdog at home. Only a point, though. Going to be about 18 degrees in Orchard Park when they start this thing on late Sunday afternoon. Who you like, Bruce?
Wow. It's funny. People I talked to all week, everybody's kind of split on this game. It's the best game of the weekend, if not the year thus far. I don't think these teams also played much earlier in the regular season, way back there when week 4, whatever, and 35-10 Ravens, Derek ran wild. That was at Baltimore. The Ravens can do that to you, but now you're out on the road here. You mentioned the weather. It is going to be frigid up there. I'm not sure how that plays either way. I end up thinking here that the home field will probably help Buffalo out. I know in their case, I think they're probably better off going to Kansas City next week. But this game, I think, is better for them to be at home. And they did lose that game to the Chiefs last year when Bass missed the field goal at the end. And this may well come down to field goals again. But Tucker has not had the greatest year for Baltimore. He's actually missed some kicks. And Bass the other way, so I'm not sure which way that cuts. That might not be a plus for the Bills. But Lamar's there's always been one playoff game. The handful of times Lamar has been in the playoffs where he has problems, including the COVID year here in Buffalo, and they just couldn't do anything. Different now with Derrick Henry, I know. But I have a feeling Buffalo's defense is not going to get run over like what happened in the first game. This is sort of, Rams-Eagles again, sort of thinking, where I don't think the first meeting is going to have any bearing on this one on the weekend. and Josh Allen at home. I would rather have him in charge in Buffalo's defense. I think the Bills are going to probably win this game. So I'm going to lean to Buffalo very tight. But like I said, I'm getting mixed opinion. Everybody I talk to consulting on this one, half the people seem to like one side, half the people the other. And it is going to be a tough one.
National championship game on Monday night. Notre Dame, Ohio State, Buckeyes 8, maybe 8.5, depending on where you shop. What do you like?
Notre Dame, now they've been betting this thing down. We're still above a key number, but I mean, there's like 9.5s out there straight at the start of the week. So they have dropped this number some. I think we don't always get the previous meetings don't necessarily mean the same thing the next time they play. But there have been some eerie similarities. The last two seasons when they played, Ohio State won lower scoring games, but Notre Dame covered the spread in both of those and a lot closer than people thought. 2 years ago, that was Marcus Freeman's first regular season game. He had coached the bowl against Oak State at the end of the season prior. And that was with Stroud at quarterback for Ohio State and Buckner for Notre Dame. And they kept Ohio State in check deep into the second half, led the game deep into the third quarter. It was a lower scoring game. And then finally Ohio State scored at the end to get ahead, but it was not easy. Notre Dame covered. And then last year, that game at South Bend, a miracle drive there right at the end by McCord in the last minute, converting a fourth down, then converting that 3rd and 19 at the 22 down to the 1. And Henderson scored in a 1-yard run with 1 second left to win, but not cover. Bottom line is Notre Dame has played these guys tough with, I think, lesser teams than this one. And I know that Jeremiah Smith and these receivers are great for Ohio State, but don't tell me they're better than Marvin Harrison Jr. the last couple of years, and Notre Dame kept him in relative check. That's Al Golden's defense. And listen, Ohio State last week, that game should have been going to overtime. That was the single worst call, I think, of the year, or in contention for it, the second down call down by the goal line by Texas there. To run that deep sweep at that point and lose 8 yards is unforgivable. That game should have gone overtime. It's a very deceiving score. Give Ohio State's defense credit, but I also blame Texas for that. In Ohio State, you saw Ohio State kind of blink last week. They weren't able just to run roughshod. I don't think they will over Notre Dame. Notre Dame's going to need to win the turnover battle, and they're going to need a couple of big plays from that offense, whether it's Riley Leonard, whether it's Greathouse, whether it's Love, but they have made them throughout the postseason here. I'm taking Notre Dame. I think they got a chance to win. I'm also playing it under mid-40s this game, 31 each of the last 2 years. Both defenses are really good. Ohio State, by the way, only allowed over 21 once this season. That was the first Oregon game, October 12 at Eugene. So I could see like a 20-17 Notre Dame win here. So I'm going to go all the way out and predict Notre Dame to win it. And certainly plus the points, I'll take the Irish.
All right, Bruce, before we let you go, real quick, we're up against the clock, but anything college basketball tonight? We got, I think, 10 games on the card tonight.
Iowa is interesting. UCLA is really struggling. I don't like Iowa that much. They're kind of soft, but you're getting Iowa points. They score points a lot more easily than UCLA. I take Iowa. And Doug Gottlieb has turned into the biggest disaster of the season at Green Bay. He benched his leading scorer in December. Now that scorer, Roy, is hurt. They have lost 9 straight, 8 of those by double digits. The one that wasn't double digits was against a D2 team. Robert Morris ain't that bad. Short price for the Colonial Snet. I will take Robert Morris in Green Bay tonight.
Bruce, we always appreciate the time. Thanks a lot. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you next Friday.
Thank you, Charlie.
All right, we'll take a break here live at Ruffino's. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Staffing Services matches hard workers with the most sought-after employers. So often you're more than just another employee. We care about your interests and will match you with a company that needs your skills. You can complete an application. You can schedule an interview. You can even browse jobs, the comfort of your own home at Lofton.jobs. Lofton also offers an unlimited $100 referral bonus. Lofton Staffing Services. We've been putting people to work since 1979. 924-0200 and Lofton.jobs. By now, you know that we do our show every other Tuesday at the Crown Town Room at Dozy Place. The Crown Town Room is ideal for larger groups, or if you just want to watch the game on one of our 3 large TVs. The tamales are the most popular appetizer, but don't forget the seared tuna with the sriracha glaze for the perfect blend of sweet and spicy. You can't go wrong also with the flash fried oysters or the shrimp. The porterhouse is the perfect steak to share. Strip on one side, filet on the other, prepared at different temps if you like, bone in to maximize flavor. Dozy Place on Government Street, just off Acadian in the heart of Mid-City.
Water is water, right? Not when it's Evermore. Smooth tasting Evermore water is Mother Nature's masterpiece. Evermore is natural artesian water. Maybe you want a healthier lifestyle, a high-end athlete who wants better hydration, or a parent who wants something healthier for their kids. You want Evermore. EVAMOR. Evermore. Available at great local retailers.
At Lofton, we're in the business of matching hard workers with some of the most sought-after employers in the Baton Rouge area. To Lofton, you're more than just another employee. We care about your interests, and we can help match you with a company that needs your skills. You can complete an application, schedule an interview, and even browse jobs by simply going to lofton.jobs. That's lofton.jobs. We also offer an unlimited $100 referral bonus. At Lofton, we put people to work. Lofton.jobs.
Boudreaux's Electrical, where every client is a VIP 24/7. No subscriptions, just unwavering commitment to your power needs with Generac home standby generators. Boudreaux's treats you like family, not just another outage. Visit boudreauxelectrical.com.
This hour of Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny is brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111, and ocbrown.com. Roto-Rooter for all your plumbing needs, 925-8710. Supreme Rice, grown, milled, processed in Louisiana since 1936. United Community Bank, the local way to bank big. Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on Jefferson Highway, 928-8659. Total Maintenance, your one-stop shop for AC, electrical, generators, and plumbing. Service today, every day for Total Maintenance and Coastal Capital Advisors. Markets evolve. We adapt.
Welcome to the Chevy Lightning Round. Guess the clues to win. First team, you're up.
Powerful, commanding, unstoppable.
Silverado.
Adventurous, fun, techie.
Trailblazer.
Stylish, nimble.
Tracks.
Innovative, electric.
Blazer EV. Lightning Round champions. You've guessed all the right Chevy clues.
Wherever the year takes you, explore it together in the Chevy of your choice. See your Super Chevy dealers today.
Hey, do you love beef? I mean premium Angus beef. Sagrera Farm sells the whole sides and quarters straight from the farm. Ready to fill your freezer with tender, flavorful ribeyes, fillets, strips, brisket, ground beef, and a lot more. I want to introduce you to Louisiana's own Sean Sagrera of Sagrera Farms, a hidden gem just 30 minutes north of Baton Rouge. What's Sean's secret? Mating genetically superior Angus cattle and then ensuring that every day in the life of his cattle is a great one. Happy, healthy cattle, finished on grain, dry-aged 45 days, creates consistent and predictable, flavorful beef. When you take a bite of Sagrera Farms beef, you'll know that this is not some mass-produced afterthought. So if you want the best, and I mean the best in Angus beef, go online to sagrerafarms.com, or better yet, call Sean right now at 225-719-1723. Sagrera Farms.
This new year, we resolve to get you the roll-off dumpster you need for your project. Start your new year outright. Visit trashrangers.com and make the switch today.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
121-1674. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Returning here at Ruffino's on Highland Road. A great crowd in here on Friday. A lot of electricity, a lot of atmosphere. I think everybody's getting ready for a good football weekend. Holomeo in here with us, and Jimmy Ott joins us via the phone line. Jimmy, good afternoon. How are you?
Doing good. Mayo, he's keeping straight over there, man.
Yeah, everything's straight, man. Hey, my credit's going up right now, baby. Let's go.
Where you at, baby?
Oh man, I'm here, man. That's the most important thing, you know. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Getting ready to pack the stuff and get on out of here pretty doggone soon and get back home. Ready to get back home. I was listening earlier. You talk about the UFC. I mean, look, when I think of Marab and that crazy gas tank, man, battle tested plus 225. That's value, Dev.
I'm telling
that's
you.
value. That's like when you came out that Birdie Mart with the human rib, red beans that time.
Yes, no, I'm serious. I'm going with Marab. That's going to be a fight that goes to decision probably too, and I think he'll get the advantage.
Marab Macabo parlay plus 428. How about that, Matt?
Let's go. I'm riding. I'm riding.
I
like Makachev. I do like that one.
I'm out of my depth here.
Yeah. Just pick the guy from Dagestan.
Yes, if it ends in V,
Mayo told me don't bet against anybody from a stand.
Yeah,
okay.
they punching trees when they growing up.
Jimmy, we got
some college bets.
Yeah, go ahead. That's where I was going. That's we think alike. Go ahead.
Well, not tonight, but I give my projected lines before these lines came out, and they're starting to trickle out at FanDuel right now. I had Alabama at Ruff tomorrow against Kentucky. That's 11 a.m. tip.
Okay.
I had that one as a pick'em. Bama's catching 3.5, so I think a bounce back spot for Alabama after a woeful performance. A ton of turnovers, 34% turnover ratio deep into the game. I mean, one out of every 3 possessions is turning the ball over. They played half court. That's not going to be half court. Hope and Kentucky like to get it up. I mean, maybe even looking at that high total at 178.5 as well. But plus 3.5 in plus 128 like Alabama against Kentucky tomorrow in a bounce back mode. The other game is Auburn. And Auburn short term. I mean, and I liked them the other night against Mississippi State. They rolled them without Johnny Broome, but now they go to Georgia. Georgia's a good team, man. They're already taking care of Kentucky. You go in now, let's see if it can do it long term without Johnny Broome in that kind of capacity. I don't think so. Plus 7.5 right now. I had this line projected at 3. So I'm taking Georgia at home plus the 7.5 as well.
Jimmy, watching
that games early in the SEC.
Yeah, Jimmy, watching that Georgia-Tennessee game the other night, Georgia played them straight up for a half, and Tennessee came out just I thought they played mad. It was almost like they had been offended that Georgia hung with them in Knoxville, and they just D'd up. I don't think Georgia had a basket for the first 6 minutes of the second half, but it was almost like the game was a little bit too long for them on the road, but not at home. At home against Kentucky, the game was not too long for them. So I'm with you on Georgia tomorrow, and I'm like you. I'm surprised we're catching that many points.
Yeah, and I wanted to take Florida, but I had it at 10. It's 10.5. I think they're in a bounce back spot as well against Texas. Texas got their first win in conference play at Oklahoma this week, but oh man, I think that down at the O'Connell Center they should bounce back, but 10.5 is a lot. I'll be looking to probably add them in some money line parlays also.
Couple of other ones. I watched that whole Kansas-Iowa State game the other night, and Iowa State is just so difficult to beat in that building. They were ahead 6 to 9 points most of the way, and then I think they finished the game on a 12-2 run, so it was a big gap. Kansas is playing a very bad Kansas State team tomorrow. I don't know, Max, if we've seen a line on that yet.
15.5.
Oh, that's too many. That's a bunch. I was hoping for something closer to 10 or 11. And then Iowa State's got to go on the road to West Virginia after that win. The last time they went on the road, Texas Tech took them to the wire before they got that win. I love Iowa State, but it's a little bit of a letdown spot going to Morgantown tomorrow. We get a line on that?
6.5.
6.5.
It is out. It's 6.5. Okay, I didn't see that one just yet. Yeah, it just came up. So the County Charlie is Iowa State beating Kansas at home. A court storm type of game these days. I mean, they're number 2 in the country. They're favored by six points or so at home. I'm wondering. Normally, you beat Kansas. I mean, but they're ranked higher than Kansas right now. They were the favorites. So, and they know they're tough at home. So, I don't know. Is it? Did I miss something? Did they court storm the other night? I mean, I didn't watch the end of the game.
No. It's I wouldn't say they thought it was the be all and end all. It's West Virginia is a tricky little place to go sometimes. I love Iowa State. I think like I told you yesterday, I think they're a Final Four team. Maybe a spot with West Virginia to cover tomorrow. I'll look at that one a little bit closer. And then Ole Miss off to the 4-0 start. They got to go to Mississippi State, who's well, I would say they've had a rough schedule, but everybody in the SEC's got a rough schedule. Max, we got a line on Ole Miss, Ohio, and Mississippi State yet?
Not just yet.
We're waiting on that one. Jimmy, your best guess at the game in Starkville tomorrow night, late tomorrow afternoon.
I think State's going to be about 5.5 in that game. I'm not showing that they posted any lines on that one just yet as well. So we're kind of going in chronological order. What time skip?
5 o'clock. 5 o'clock.
Yeah, that's a spot. That's a spot that State at the Humpty Hump, man. I mean, come on. I mean, Ole Miss, that's it. First time ever beating top 5 team on the road. No, now that's unexpected. That's a 12-point dog. I'm looking to get all over State tomorrow. I hope it's not too much, but I mean, I would lay as much as 6.5, but I hope it's not that much.
All right, divisional football. What's your thoughts on the Saturday games? I think you're going to be back with us for football Sunday, so we'll have more time to talk about the Sunday games. But at least the Saturday games for right now.
Yeah, Macero, man. Macero and I were in a beachside bar. This place is nuts. He took me to in San Diego, Pacific Beach, and man, he was just telling me for hours on Washington. I mean, I got to give him credit, man. He had that the exacta box in the NFC East with Philly and Washington. And the other one he had was his hometown team. How about that guy, Mayo? He lives on the West Coast but talks like he's from the East Coast.
Yeah, and this is interesting. Yeah.
So he said that New England was, he took them to have the worst record in the NFL. And so, I mean, they got the number 1 pick, right, Charlie? So I think he hit that.
No,
one.
they don't.
Second pick.
Titans. The Titans ended up with when they won that game, the meaningless game against Buffalo.
Yeah.
They blew the number 1 pick. They got the number 3 pick.
That's right.
But they were number 1. Cleveland got the number 2 pick, and New England's at number 3. But
if New England loses that game, they get the number 1 pick.
Yes. Yeah.
And look, he had a tough one last week with Washington scoring the most points. I know that he liked that as a shot. This is a misleading score. Houston is not playing good on offense. They haven't played good for quite some time. We talk about Stroud and the sophomore slump, and now he's missing his top 3 targets. This defense, it's all about their defense. And how many points were created from the defense against the Chargers last week? So, man, they got a lot of pressure. They get great secondary. I mean, that is by far the strength of that team. And Kansas City's been sort of a defensive team of this year and last year as well. I'm stuck on that big number over a touchdown, but I'm going to continue. This is the one we had all the unders last week and went 5-1, but this week is the only one that I like. I'm taking the under 41.5 with Kansas City and Houston. But I will not. I am going to tease Houston and Buffalo. So -2.5 for Kansas City, Buffalo +7 in the teaser. Talk about Buffalo and Baltimore. I think more of our contributors on Baltimore this week, and their numbers are impressive. But why have they lost more games than the Bills? And so I just think that it's more the breakthrough time. It's more time for Josh Allen, a little bit more than Lamar Jackson, giving them at home as well. I mean, Allen's been unbelievable. And the matchup stylistically that I really like, Allen is going to extend plays. And that secondary for Baltimore is very vulnerable when he is going to be able to extend some plays. So I look for Buffalo. I know that a lot of guys are respected, including Randy McKay, I believe is on Baltimore. I'm taking Buffalo +7, Kansas City -2.5. And another one with recency bias, well, they're all standalone games, but the last one we saw was Monday night. How good did the Rams look? Well, everybody, man, that's a lot of points. Jalen Hurts can't play any worse than what he played on Sunday against Green Bay, and they still won by double digits. I'm thinking Philadelphia -6. They got a great roster, and they are healthy. So I'm going to take Philadelphia and -6. in the divisional game against the Rams.
Speaking of healthy, Ian Rappaport saying, looks like no Zay Flowers for the Ravens again this week. Early in the week, they thought he might play. And Joe Mixon, they think he's going to give it a go against Kansas City. The ankle has been a problem, but they think he's going to be able to go. Whether he will be compromised, limited, whatever you want to say, we'll see. But he was a big factor in that game. Jimmy, we thought that maybe the Texas rush game was slowing down a little bit, that maybe Mixon was slowing down at the end of the season. They had a really good game against the Chargers, but maybe the ankle not quite 100% in that game tomorrow. Something to watch for Houston.
There's no doubt, man. And just, that's what Houston. I just don't know what's Stroud. I mean, there's a lot of people would be in line to take Stroud at this point of his career moving forward. He's shown that he can be really good, but man, he's been bad. It's almost, this is a team that maybe is a product of their division and also a product of their defense. So I'm happy they scored all those points. A lot of these point spreads and totals are built on just the final score. I think it's highly misleading because this is one of the weaker offenses in the league right now. He's got a great running game too, Charlie. I mean, Mixon's a great running back. That's a good running game. So it's just been a rough year for Stroud. And now without Dell and Collins and Diggs, I mean, man, it's been a real.
It's got Mechie, I think. Who is it? Mechie,
yeah, who had missed his entire rookie season, but he came on and had to play a lot this year. Well, Jimmy, we wish you a safe trip back and looking forward to having you back live on the show on Sunday. We'll be at the Queen. Rohan will be there, Mike Delicano, all of our contributors on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. Looking forward to having you back in the fold. Give our best to EJ and all the guys there in Tuscaloosa, and we'll see you on Sunday.
I'm ready to come back. I'm ready to come back, and so is my son. So I'm getting back. He's ready to boot Rodney Day. Enough is back to school, Dad. Get back home. Oh, man.
All right, Godfather. Good talking to you as always.
All right, baby. I'll see you.
All right, take care.
I suspected, this is kind of where that happens sometimes. Hey, look, this has been great, but time to head back and get back into the flow of things.
Yep.
We're looking forward to having Jimmy back. Coastal Capital Advisors, your full service financial planners. When it comes to retirement, no two situations are alike. Your advisor needs to tailor a plan to fit your family's needs, help them realize their goals and dreams. Coastal Capital Advisors will work with you, your business partners, your legal team, and tax professionals to make sure those goals are achieved. You got to have constant communication when you're developing that lifetime plan. Coastal Capital Advisors will build that relationship. They've certainly done so over the years with me. The bottom line is they'll work for you. I know they've worked for me for a long time. For more information, contact Philip Fontenot and his great staff at 337-981-1376 or online, coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Edge Advisors, LLC, doing business as Coastal Capital Advisors, registered investment advisor. All securities offered through New Age Securities, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Take a break here live at Ruffino's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch.
And we bring you this show by our friends over at the Thibodaux store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux. If you've had those nagging repairs that need to be done around the house, and maybe your New Year's resolution is to take care of those projects, let the Thibodaux store and the experts there help you out, because it's easier than following a YouTube video when you can actually ask questions, get some guidance. You won't waste time on materials. You won't waste money on materials. You won't waste time going with procedures that don't work. So if you're making some minor repairs around the house, maybe you're laying a little concrete, doing some painting, minor things that you can do yourself and not have to hire a contractor, let the Thibodaux store help you out. Shop online at ThibodauxStore.com with free delivery. That's including lumber out of their sister property, the Pierre Part store. Just recently celebrated 113 years in the business. You're around that long, you know what you're doing. 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux for the Thibodaux store, and online it's ThibodauxStore.com.
The Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny Restaurant Club. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, downtown facing Town Square. At Jolie Pearl, we're pretty shucking good. Snow Seafood and Steak for over 50 years on Airline, Highway, and Highway 74 in Gonzales. Dozy Place for hand-cut steaks on Government Street and Mid-City. Louis Cafe, a Baton Rouge landmark since 1941. Just outside the north gates of LSU. Fin Bomb, sushi, burrito, poke, ramen at Burbank and Lee. And Phil's Oyster Bar since 1950 on Government Street to now in the South Downs Shopping Center.
Since the 1930s, Supreme Rice has delighted their customers for all of your favorite South Louisiana dishes. Whether you like the brown, long grain, medium grain, jasmine, or the new parboiled rice, Supreme Rice makes your favorite dishes even better. They even have a healthy low glycemic rice, a great option for diabetics and those who have high insulin resistance. Supreme Rice is proud to be part of the Climate Smart program, which promotes water conservation and reduces methane emissions so future generations of Louisiana farmers can enjoy the same benefits. For more information and great recipes, find them online at supremerice.com.
It's a new year. Aren't you ready to finally get the IRS off your back? Hi, I'm attorney Kerry Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm. We've helped so many people figure out their IRS issues, and they always tell us they wish they'd called us sooner. Friends, the IRS isn't going away. Matter of fact, they're ramping up their efforts. So now's the time to call the Bryson Law Firm and let us get between you and the IRS and make your life better. If you have wage levies, bank levies, tax liens, or unpaid taxes, call the Bryson Law Firm and let us get out in front of the IRS and devise your best resolution plan. IRS problems are legal problems. So call the Bryson Law Firm. We're local. Our headquarters are in Lafayette, and we have offices statewide. Or visit BrysonLawFirm.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm. The Bryson Law Firm. Results may vary. LSBA filing number LA2316155.
Workbox can handle all of your movable storage needs, commercial and residential. Our shipping containers come in various sizes, 8x8, 8x10, 8x20, or even 8x40 feet. Not just one size. These units can be customized for any use. Custom lunchrooms, offices, work sites for plumbers or welders, dual purpose, part office, part storage, climate control, shelving, lighting, using different materials, whatever you need. Give my buddy Martin Padial at Workbox a call at 343-4886, 343-4886, and workboxllc.com.
New Fords, hundreds of used cars. Find it all at Robinson Brothers Ford. Find our biggest savings on 2024 Expeditions. Save $12,000 off MSRP. $12,000 off Expeditions. Buy the 2024 Edge and get $6,500 off MSRP. Plus, save big on every F-150 and F-250 in stock. And as always, no unexpected fees. Find it all at Robinson Brothers Ford.
Excludes TTNL, registration, insurance, dealer dock fees, courtesy transportation units. Cash from dealer and Ford. Ends 2/3/2025.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Back here at Ruffino's. Holomeo sitting in for Jimmy Ott. All right, so I think I've asked everybody on the show today who they like in the divisional games. I probably should ask you.
Yeah.
We done complaining about the Saints. We'll get to complain about the Pelicans in a second, but who do you like?
I mean, they got enough insight. I know that.
Anybody on your Terminex do not bet list?
Yeah, no, we clear because it's January. It's a new year, so
okay,
I was able to clear it.
Clean slate.
Yeah,
right.
and then one of the first teams I picked that I had on the list was Texas, and they lost, so they went back on the list. For 2025.
Wait, they change the quarterbacks next year. They start the season on the list.
Yeah, well, we may have to make an exception, but for now, they are definitely on the list.
Right. If Jimmy were still on here, he would encourage you to bet on the Mannings.
Yeah.
Favorite football family. Who you like?
I mean, I got to be honest. I really think the Ravens are going to win. Just the history of the Bills in the playoffs and the letdown. I just don't think it ends here. I don't think it ends here. I think the Ravens win. The Ravens are the more physical team, in my opinion. I don't know. I just that for me, that's the one I like the most. I like the Ravens. I think I agree with Jimmy. I think the Eagles are going to win. I'm not going to fall for the Rams thing. I was on the Rams last week when it looked fishy, so I got my pole out and I made a cast. I'm not making a cast again. I'll take the Eagles in that one. I like Washington in the points against the Lions. I think Jaden Daniels has proven time and time again. His composure is incredible. There's nothing too big for him. So 8.5 points. Come on, let's go. Washington with 8.5 points. Chiefs, Texans, everything has to go right for the Texans to win. So, like, when they were eating Justin Herbert up. I mean,
the pressure they got off the edge was impressive. Yeah.
It was incredible. So I just don't see that type of thing happening with Mahomes. I think the Chiefs are going to win. I'm not saying I'm going to take the Chiefs by 8.5 because I've learned that years and years they just don't usually cover.
Yeah. So you said Chiefs on the money line, throw it in a parlay.
Yeah,
somewhere?
yeah.
Okay.
I think they're definitely going to win. I love Washington plus 8.5. I like the Eagles in the points, and then I like the Ravens to win.
Well, if you like the Commanders plus 8.5, you're really gonna like them plus 9.5, which I think is what we got at the Queen.
Oh,
right
really?
now, Max. We got
They
9.
have some out there, yeah.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
9.5. All right, in between all of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Frustration over the Saints. There's frustration over the Pelicans for a different reason.
Yeah.
I've been watching sports since I was old enough to understand the concept of games. And I don't think I've ever seen a franchise get as many people hurt as often as the New Orleans Pelicans. I mean, they've changed everything, the trainers, the practices, the coaches, the players, and it's almost like, you need Marie Laveau out there or something. So you tell me, you're a little bit closer to it. It seems from the outside the market, that it's a little bit apathetic because even if they do win a game here and there, even run a couple of games off, they're never going to be able to keep the same lineup on the floor. They're never going to be able to keep their key guys out there for a long enough period of time to make a run, and that's the most frustrating thing because actually they played with Boston the other night.
Yeah, they lost by 1.
Yeah, they won the game in Chicago. It's like if you could keep this group out there, okay, but they can never seem to keep that group
and you'll
out
go
there.
insane saying the same thing because that's what you always got to say about the Pelicans.
Yeah.
If you can get the group out there, but we've been saying that for years. Something's just not adding up. And also, you pair that with how the league is now.
Yeah.
So with how the NBA is with the injuries and the back-to-backs and, guys sitting on back-to-backs.
I just don't want to play.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't want to play.
Right.
I went to the Mavericks game when they played the Mavericks the other night. Well, I found out, a few hours before tip-off, Kyrie Irving, who played the night before, Zion, who played the game, they both out. You
want me to work 2 days in a row? Come
Yeah.
on.
So
you're asking a lot now, right?
And look, I like the guys. Like I like DeJounte Murray. I think he's like the other night when I went. I mean, he had a great game. He had like 27 points. He was taking over in the fourth quarter. We do have some good pieces, but like everybody says, they never always together. BI's out right now. Herb Jones is out right now.
What do you think they're going to do with Ingram? I mean, trade deadline's February 6th.
I think if anybody were to get traded, I think it's obviously going to be Brandon Ingram.
I'm looking for a deal. I don't know that.
It's
first of all, he's not healthy. Okay,
Yeah.
Nobody knows if he's on an expiring contract. So unless he agrees that he'll sign a long-term deal, you're renting him, and if you're renting him, you're not renting a healthy player at this point. And if they got to ride this out with him, they may end up getting nothing for him.
It was eye-opening about BI, and I like BI. But it was eye-opening how he played in the playoff series against the Thunder he played horrible. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
The defense was horrible. And at that point right there, I was like, okay, we have to go in a different direction than these same guys that we've been believing in. That's the part of the thing about the Pelicans too. They have a very soft cloud around them. Oh, you don't want to play? All right. Zion, another game you miss him. BI, Herb, everybody's out. Who's going to come into this organization and be like, enough is enough?
Well, they did that. Wasn't that Stan Van Gundy's job when he came in and said, hard-ass coach? And what, they ran him off after 1 year?
Best Zion played, too.
He actually played that year. Here's my deal with Ingram, okay? He's a really good player, but he's not the best player on a good team.
No.
And I think you saw that the market was such that you're not getting a max deal. You're not getting a max deal from the Pelicans. You're not getting a max deal from anybody else. If Brandon Ingram is your best player, you're probably not a playoff team.
Right.
If Brandon Ingram is your second best player, then you probably got a pretty good team. If Brandon Ingram is your third best player, you're a championship level team.
That's well said.
So find a spot to move him if you can't sign. And they've tried to sign him, but I think it's the right move. You're not a max level guy.
Yeah, and I respect the Pelicans for that, for not you bending on that and giving him money that he's just not worth it. You know what I'm saying? I think you could see BI go to like Charlotte or something like that and be the best player on Charlotte's. You know, it's
and
just,
they're not going to make the playoffs.
Exactly. That's who BI is. And he's a good guy, and New Orleans loves him. I get it, you know, but
and I don't blame him for wanting his money. But
how many more years do we have to? I mean, like CJ McCollum, like the time has run its course. It's time to just revamp this team, and I'm cool with it being with Zion. I don't like the term build around Zion because he don't play enough.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You kind of just got to look at him for what he is at this point. I don't know who you could compare him to that was like so consistently injured. I mean, he's been in the league.
Bill Walton.
Okay.
Bill Walton. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Bill Walton played about 40% of his eligible games in his career, and that's about where Williamson is. It's not that he doesn't put up numbers. It's not that he can't play.
Yeah,
it's that he doesn't.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We'll take our final time out here, come back, wrap things up. Live at Ruffino's. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Our story began in 1938 when local communities came together to bring light and power.
And then who's Marcano? So who's
that? I haven't seen.
Gary Luce, it just happened.
Yeah,
Whenever you're ready.
I'm just checking to make sure. I think we're Big Mike's. Check my book, which is in my phone.
Technology.
Yeah, let's see. Today is the 17th. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, no doubt.
All right.
It's rolling.
It's Charles Handgriff. Join us for the Monday edition of Live at Lunch from Big Mike's in Denham Springs. We're recapping the divisional round of the NFL playoffs and getting you ready for the national championship game in college football. Live at Big Mike's Monday at 11 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Find hot deals on HP, America's most trusted printer brand. Whether you need to print invoices or eye-catching presentations, HP delivers with exceptional speed, reliability, and vibrant color. And with HP, replenishing ink is simple. Find HP ink cartridges in store at Staples or subscribe to HP Instant Ink and never worry about running out. And right now with home and office hot deals at Staples, you can save up to $150 on select HP printers through February 1st.
Shop can't miss deals going on now during Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. For a limited time, get a free adjustable stand when you buy a DeWalt 12-inch miter saw. That's a $229 value. Plus, save $680 on a Midea 4-piece kitchen appliance suite. Now just $17.96. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Valid 113 through 124. Cannot be combined with additional discounts. While supplies last. See store or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
At Curbside, great burgers aren't just what we do, it's who we are. Catch the big game in our newly renovated backyard with over a dozen TVs. Enjoy ice-cold buckets of beer, craft frozens, and boozy milkshakes. Curbside has something for everyone. Visit Curbside today.
When it comes to celebrating life, there's no better place than Ruffino's. With locations in Baton Rouge and Lafayette, Ruffino's is a steak, seafood, and Italian-inspired restaurant that focuses on the celebration of life, regardless of the occasion. Whether it's the food they serve or the service they provide, their goal is to ensure a remarkable experience for their guests that is always remembered. To view our menu, visit ruffinosrestaurant.com. Ruffino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Now at Staples. Find hot deals on HP, America's most trusted printer brand. Whether you need to print invoices or eye-catching presentations, HP delivers with exceptional speed, reliability, and vibrant color. And with HP, replenishing ink is simple. Find HP ink cartridges in store at Staples or subscribe to HP Instant Ink and never worry about running out. And right now with home and office hot deals at Staples, you can save up to $150 on select HP printers through February 1st.
Shop can't miss deals going on now during Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. For a limited time, get a free adjustable stand when you buy a DeWalt 12-inch miter saw. That's a $229 value. Plus, save $680 on a Midea 4-piece kitchen appliance suite. Now just $17.96. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Valid 113 through 124. Cannot be combined with additional discounts. While supplies last. See store or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
If you live in Ascension or Livingston Parish, you need one of our red cans this new year. Just make the switch. It's a perfect New Year's resolution. Visit trashrangers.com and make the switch today.
Relief Windows. Experience, quality, and service. ReliefWindows.com.
Live at lunch with Odd and Hanny from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
A couple of minutes left, Max. We got a big update on the UFC. UFC card.
Yeah, UFC 311 main event has been changed. Arman Sarukian was supposed to fight Islam Makhachev. He is out with an injury, so they're replacing him with someone else who is on the lower card, Money Moicano, who I know you liked, Mayo. Moicano's going to get his title shot now. So, Jimmy, if you're listening, if you had that Makhachev parlay in, you're going to have to redo it because Makhachev's fighting a new fighter, Money Moicano, stepping in for Arman Sarukian in the title fight, the main event.
It's going to be interesting because Moicano is one of them dudes. He's just a warrior. And I'm going to be honest, like just off first impression, I don't see Makhachev finishing him. So I think I don't see him finish. Moicano's a beast.
Yeah.
So Money Moicano, he's great on the mic. The people love him. Man, that's going to be one of them ones. I know that Makhachev's going to win, but it's going to be one of them ones I'll be looking at it like, do I take Moicano here? You know, do I take a little fly on Moicano? Because
it's a curveball. Makhachev was preparing for somebody else.
Right.
They both were, but
which one of these guys is from a stand?
Islam.
Makhachev.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's going to be a heavy favorite.
Yeah.
That's what I need to know.
That's the
what I learned
Khabib
today.
camp. And if you train with Khabib, like you are pretty flawless.
Yeah, man, thanks so much for coming
Yeah,
down
man,
here today.
absolutely.
We appreciate
Love it.
Always love having you on the show. Thanks for coming down. I know Jimmy appreciates it too, and he'll be back with us on Football Sunday from the Queen on Sunday. Coming by here at Ruffino's, the appetizer feature, the oysters lafouche with the jumbo lump crab meat, pork bellies also with the parsnip puree. The fish feature today, the pan-seared halibut with lobster claw meat, and the pork chop a la vodka, the Parmesan-crusted pork chops with the vodka tomato cream sauce, all here at Ruffino's. And we will be at the Queen on Sunday. We have Big Mike's in Denham Springs on Monday. Enjoy the weekend. Lots of you got football, you got basketball, you got the UFC fights. No shortage of stuff to keep you occupied this weekend. We'll look forward to seeing you on Monday. For Hola Mayo, for Max Gocho, for Jordan Kinch is back in the studio, and all of us here at Ruffino's, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Enjoy the weekend. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at